This week on Ducks Unlimited Television, we follow the birds north to south, along the whole length of the country, from Michigan to Mississippi.
Good shot.
You guys get ready. The workings. The workings.
I like to look the drake with a mallard drake in his mouth.
That's worth the price of admission. Right.
Spirited outdoor adventure and a commitment to conservation. Ducks Unlimited Television.
As waterfowlers, each time we step into the field, our senses are challenged and our skills are tested. And oftentimes the success of a hunt is written in the memories burned into the mind and the lessons we learn from our fellow hunters. Hi, I'm Mark Pierce, and such is the case with this week's hunts. From the rough and tumble waters of Lake Erie to the rich flooded cornfields of the Mississippi Delta, we find ourselves in two totally different ecosystems that are as important to the ducks as they are different. And along the way, we'll catch up with one of America's finest duck callers. Running from its northern end in Illinois all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, the Mississippi Delta is home to approximately 500 different species of wildlife, including millions of wintering waterfowl. For DU's Executive Vice President Don Young, his son Nate, and expert caller and industry leader Will Primos, the flooded cornfields around Jim Kennedy's Tupelo property near Bilzoni, Mississippi, are the perfect spot on the Delta for an early morning hunt.
Good morning, Mississippi.
I really enjoy being in this part of Mississippi, being raised here in the state. The Delta is just a magical place. And it's been really interesting to follow the ducks and their migrations and their population numbers from the 60s and the 70s and then we 80s, and now here it is the next century. And it's nice to see so many ducks.
Thanks to dedicated landowners like Jim Kennedy here, they're looking after some of the best remaining habitat in the Mississippi Delta, and we're really,
I've always
delighted to be here.
I've always said that if you don't love something, you're not going to protect it, and it's amazing how serious devoted hunters are protecting the resource. Yes, we love to shoot them, we love to see them, but we can't have all that if they're not here, so we're the first ones to protect them.
All right.
I'm looking forward to calling to a few ducks.
Good. Okay, Drake, you ready to go? Watch this widgeon here. He's always working us here. Coming overhead, you ready?
Nice.
Oh, good shot.
That was good because the gun never went to my shoulder. So I'll take that one for luck. We got some ducks working, guys.
Good work, Drake. Well, beautiful Drake widgeon. Well shot, well retrieved.
Favorite duck right there. That's green on.
Thank you, Drake.
Oh boy, Drake.
Worked hard for that one.
Watch it, right. Oh. Good shot, Nate.
Excellent shot.
Drake.
Excellent.
Didn't want to pass up another one of those. I think those were bluebills.
Yeah, I think.
Now you got it. Attaboy, Drake. Catch him up. Good work. Attaboy, Drake.
Bluebill.
Nice Drake bluebill, Nate. Good shot. Well done.
Pretty.
No wonder they call them those bluebills.
Yeah. I don't know how you made cut that shot off. They were lying
It's
through
those
there.
20-year-old reflexes, Will. I think they're long past us. Break.
Wow!
Great start.
Yes, sir.
Attaboy, Drake. Attaboy. What a Drake bluebill.
I might try to talk you out of those 2 bluebills.
Hey, coming from the left, coming from the left.
You know, Nate, we've recently hired a couple of new executives at the company, and they supervise a number of employees. And when we're looking at the resume, one of the things you're looking for is a well-rounded person. To find out what his background is. Of course, we're a hunting company, and if I see any involvement with DU, that's going to strike a real interest with me. But if I see it was on a volunteer basis at the college level, and I know DU's doing some things there, what are they doing?
Most of the colleges in the South have got Ducks Unlimited chapters, and they're raising a lot of money and a lot of attention towards Ducks Unlimited and conservation. I mean, if you just get one guy active, I mean, that's another fellow to pass on the tradition down the line. Ole Miss does do a very good job also as well as Mississippi State, and it's kind of fun because we get the little competition between the 2 rival schools, not only in the football and sports, but with the Ducks Unlimited chapters, kind of spur each other on to see how much money each one can raise, and it's a good friendly competition, and it's definitely for a good cause. Yeah, the most important thing I found with all this college involvement is that the students of today are going to be the conservation leaders of tomorrow.
There's no doubt about it.
When Ducks Unlimited Television returns, it's a new day in the Delta. In the morning light, the calling continues. And Nate Young shows us that sometimes youth can be an advantage in duck hunting. In the flooded marshland of the Mississippi Delta, Will Primos has the opportunity to put his calling into practice. And while Don and Nate Young benefit from Will's abilities, we also learn that it's always a good time to pass hunting traditions from father to son.
Well, you know, we're seeing a lot of birds this morning, good diversity, including some really colored up Drake shovelers.
Yeah.
They're a great looking bird.
I remember the first shovel I shot, I thought I had killed some great cross between a mallard and something. I didn't know what. I was mighty proud of it.
Actually, that was the first duck I ever shot, long well back, but I actually shot it off that step ladder that my dad used to prop me up on.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I used to stand behind him, and he could lean back into me and steady himself, and he shot his first bird off the step ladder that we took out in the marsh when he was originally a 2-year-old. So.
That's incredible.
Here comes, here comes. Good shooting, guys. Great.
I knew I'd catch up to him eventually.
Nice double, boys. New green wing teal. Good boy, Drake. Break it off. Touch him up. Attaboy. Dead bird, Drake. Drake. Attaboy. Good work, Drake. Good boy. Good boy. It's a double, boys. Good work. Beautiful bird.
Good shot.
Good job. Good boy, Drake. Good boy. Little shake.
Only waterfowlers would love it, a wet dog shaking them. Now that's pretty.
That's a pretty bird. Beautiful Drake greenwood. Well, guys, we're going to call it a day, but I think we should acknowledge Jim Kennedy for hosting us with another incredible example of a commitment to conservation here today.
No kidding. How many ducks have we seen?
You know, thousands and thousands of ducks and a variety of species. I can't think of a better way to finish off the morning once again in Mississippi Delta.
I can't either. Thank y'all. I enjoyed being with both of you.
A lot can stand between a retriever and his quarry, including fences, brush lines, and downed trees, just to name a few. When Ducks Unlimited Television returns, Mike Stewart teaches Drake the DU dog how to handle environmental barriers.
This week, Mike teaches Drake how to handle environmental barriers.
An important step in retriever training is to condition the dog to punch through any barrier or cover they may encounter on a line to a bird. Drake. Let's take a look at some of the conditions we need to prepare for. First, environmental obstacles. These are not actually physical barriers, rather they are natural conditions of topography or abrupt changes in ground cover that can deflect a dog's straight line to a bird. Disruptive environmental conditions may include steep embankments, hedgerows, thickets, or even marsh grass. Lining from fields into woodlands, heavy grass cover into plowed ground, or even leaving water onto land. These are types of environmental barriers that we must first introduce in our training activities. There are also psychological barriers that can disrupt or influence a line to a bird. These disruptions are quite frustrating to the unprepared hunting dog and his handler. For example, dogs tend to pull to protruding points or peninsulas in water. They also commonly pull to cover locations they see as birdie. Still, retrievers must learn to overcome these tendencies and hold their line to the fall. Perceived barriers include roadways such as Drake is about to cross, cut lanes, plowed strips, levees, or other abrupt changes in land or water surfaces. Also, large unfamiliar decoy spreads may prove disruptive to the inexperienced dog, causing disorientation on the line. Other lining influences are physical in nature. Obstructions such as fences, fallen timber, ditches, all are barriers which disrupt an otherwise successful line. The effective retriever can successfully negotiate any obstruction. Barriers, both actual and perceived. They can disrupt an otherwise great line to a fallen bird. Prepare your dog to handle these types of tricky conditions that you're likely to encounter in a real hunting situation. See you next week.
Situated at the crossroads of the Atlantic and Mississippi flyways, more than 3 million ducks migrate through the Great Lakes region each year. Just a mile offshore of Lake Erie, Jared Brown is joined by DU Regional Biologist Guido Torrey, Michigan State Chairman for DU Bob Ranka, and Captain Larry Davis with his first mate Jamie Riffle for some late morning layout boat hunting.
Our primary target's Scott, and we're hopefully going to see a lot of them, and should see some redheads.
Scoters, maybe some ruddies,
Bufflehead.
bufflehead.
Yeah, it can be a pretty mixed bag out there.
Well, how far offshore would we be?
I'm thinking, yeah, maybe a mile, maybe a mile and a half.
What type of decoy spread are they going to do around our layout boat?
Well, they're putting two streams of bluebill decoys, and I think he's also got some redhead decoys. They'll lay them out kind of in 2 streams right out from each layout boat and leave a big channel in the middle.
Before the hunt begins, Jared Brown had the opportunity to learn more about the remarkable story of habitat recovery in the Great Lakes region.
The Great Lakes have it all. We've got production, we've got migration, we've got wintering habitat that we need to deal with. And so DU's approach is just as diverse as the waterfowl needs are. We do a lot of work with state and federal agencies and partners to do restoration and protection work on properties that they own. We also have a significant private lands effort here in the Great Lakes to work with private landowners to restore wetlands on their property. The Great Lakes, I think, has been kind of an untold story when it comes to black ducks. These Lake Erie marshes, again, serve as a critical staging area for black ducks in the fall. It's a real important, crucial area for these birds before they head down south. When Lake Erie began to get cleaned up and revitalized, some of the aquatic vegetation started coming back. We saw more and more scaup. But that's also brought some concerns about taking up contaminants from some of the toxics in Lake Erie. And so there's some good and bad news both there with scaup. And DU's expending a lot of efforts trying to look at the problems of scaup and how we can resolve those. We're doing our darndest to make sure that we can continue those birds in good shape.
Back on Lake Erie, the decoys are set, and it's time for Jared and Bob to brave the wind, rain, and chop for some layout boat scaup hunting.
Bob, look, we got a single coming out over here in front.
Yeah, I got him.
Let's get ready.
Let's call.
Get ready to take them.
Great shot. Way to go, Jared. Beautiful bird.
Ducks Unlimited presents the Better Waterfowling Tip of the Week.
As the creator of Ducks Unlimited's official line of calls, Will Primos is a leading authority on bringing birds to the decoys. In Mississippi, I jumped at the chance to hear his theories on the fundamentals of calling.
Will, you know, everywhere I go, guys are talking about duck calling. I mean, there's maybe not a more complex subject to waterfowlers than calling ducks.
Right.
Now, single read, double read, this call, that call. So let's go back to duck calling 101.
But for simplicity, I guess I need to talk first about putting voice into the call or not. In the old days, they called it grunting into a call.
That's the way I was taught.
Yeah. Second, what word am I trying to say that will help me get the air into the call and end the air properly? And third is using your hand. And that sounds like you're actually humming into the call. That's not necessary. With today's calls, they're made better, they're more precision. It's already got the low end into it, which is why you grunted in the first place, so you don't have to do that. This is calling without grunting. You barely hear the beginning of my voice start. And the reason you do is I'm forming the word ut. Ut comes from your throat and you shut your throat off. The end of the call comes when your tongue hits the roof of your mouth. Ut. Start with a quack. Learn to quack.
And that's kind of the foundation of it all.
The foundation of it all.
Good quack.
And the third thing, you see my hand accenting the sound. But with those three things, learning not to put so much voice into the call, then learning to form the right word, I like ut or hut to form the basic quack.
What about the feed call in general? I mean, here different guys have different opinions on that. Does a feed call ducks? Is it background noise?
No, it does call ducks. I mean, but there's two different sounds. One sound is it's kind of like ticka ticka ticka. Ducks do that when they're flying.
Mm-hmm.
When ducks are feeding, it's cluck. I call it a cluck. It's I got this glove on to tell you that I use my hand without a glove. That with a glove on your call hand is really bad.
And then what about, I hear guys talking about listen to ducks. How does somebody do that in the off season?
The best thing for me is just like this morning. Ducks were landing back behind us and we'd call and she'd call.
Yeah.
It just sets it in your head. That's what I want to
All of a sudden you start to make the connection.
Yeah. So listen to them in the wild during the fall if you can.
Layout hunting is a time-honored tradition in Michigan. And while it's up to the individual to take aim, it takes a team to make this kind of hunt complete. On Lake Erie, Jared Brown and Bob Rankin reap the benefits of sharing the water with some of the area's most experienced and hardy hunters.
Nice shot, Jared.
This type of hunting requires a real team effort. I mean, between your hunting buddy here, calling, and then having the little retriever boat, I guess, and to retrieve the birds. All right, here comes the ducks off to the side.
All right.
All right. Well, I got my three now. What a great way to limit out.
I see some coming from the left over there. Here they are.
Whack 'em. Nice shot. I tell you, Bob, this is really a unique experience for a southern boy, and I've really enjoyed it.
Well, I can tell by the way you handle the gun that you've done some other kind of shooting.
I have shot a few ducks in my day. Gino, Bob?
Nice looking ducks, man.
Nice limits there.
Great job, man. I tell you, Captain Larry did it right.
Well, that's a nice limit of ducks, and again, because of the efforts of Ducks Unlimited and all its professional staff, the volunteers, we have ducks.
Yeah. We'll continue to have them too.
And so the next generations.
You know, over the years, I've had a chance to spend time with a lot of talented and dedicated hunters and conservationists. And I've learned one very important lesson. Whether it's on a hunt in a blind or working on a Ducks Unlimited campaign, the stronger the team, the more success we have. DU's team includes individuals, corporations, governmental agencies, and others across the continent who share a passion for the conservation of our wetlands and wildlife. Thanks for watching Ducks Unlimited Television, and remember, more habitat on the ground means more ducks in the sky.